makes me feel 10 feet tall. Without it, I go through withdrawal. 'Cause nothing even matters at all. Nothing even matters. Nothing even matters. Nothing even matters. Nothing even matters. These buildings can drift out to sea. A natural catastrophe, but there's no place I'd rather be. 'Cause nothing even matters to me. Nothing even matters. Nothing even matters. Nothing even matters. You're part of my identity. I sometimes have a tendency to look at you religiously. Yeah, but nothing even matters to me. Nothing even matters. Nothing even matters. Nothing even matters. You won't find me at no store. I have no time for manicures. With you it's never either or. 'Cause nothing even matters. Nothing even matters. Nothing even matters at all. Nothing even Nothing even matters. Now my team could score and make it to the Final Four. Just repossess me 4x4. Yeah, 'cause nothing even matters no more. Nothing even matters. Nothing even matters, yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah. Nothing even matters to me. Nothing but you. Nothing but you. Boo. Yeah.
WIIFTBP.
Live from What's in It for the Black Media Studio.
The problem in the past has been the man turning us against one another.
Take a journey with Salim.
Come with me into Muwakkil'S world.
We have been unable to see the truth because we have been fighting for 10 square feet of ground.
It's Muwakkil'S world.
Can you dig it? Can you dig it? Can you dig it?
Watch out now.
Here's Salim.
Greetings, family. I'm Salim Muwakkil, and I welcome you to Muwakkil'S world on this Tuesday, 6th day of July, a steamy day with some of the steam still standing from the pyrotechnic orgy that we've just experienced on the 4th of July weekend. Man, that was savage. We've also had another weekend orgy of violence. In fact, statistics say this was the year's most violent weekend. 99 people shot, at least, and I think 17 killed. Whatever the case, whatever the numbers are, there's absolutely too much violence going on in this city and across the country in the African-American neighborhoods, near and far. We've tried many things in attempts to mitigate this violence, but nothing seems to be working in any kind of sustained way. But one thing that we haven't really focused on that tightly is the music. And that seems very strange to me because, our radio stations are blasting out music that celebrates this dysfunction. Yet, few people are speaking out about it. Some people are, but it would seem that this is such an obvious culprit, or one of the culprits, that it would be it's an easy target. It perplexes me why we don't seem to focus more directly on it. Well, there's one brother who has been seriously focusing on it, relentlessly, loudly, and consistently. And that's Brother Kwabena Sakidi Jigaga Rasuli. And Brother Kwabena is one of the founders of the Clear the Way Airwaves Project. That's a group that's dedicated to ridding the airwaves of this filthy, fratricidal, ratchet, let's say, music that's being directly to Black America's sensibilities, Black America's mind, right into our breadbasket, so to speak. So join us today as we chop it up about that issue and many other issues. We're gonna get into other things as well. So please share the broadcast and like the broadcast. So let's get right into it, Brother Kwabena. Greetings, man. Glad you could join us, bro.
Man, good to be here with you, brother.
Yes, sir, man. I'm always glad to have you on the scene, man. It seems to me that you are an indispensable figure in today's in the environment that we find ourselves in today, man. You heard my introduction. What are some of your thoughts about this endless quest, man, to find some way to mitigate this fratricidal violence in our communities?
I would just talk to my father on the way out here, and he asked me this question several years ago. This is the year, I think it was about 11 or 12 people getting shot every day in Chicago, 2016, I believe. And he said if they weren't playing that music on these radio stations, how many people you think would be getting shot every day? And, I said, that's a good question. Never thought about it like that. I said, it's a big city. It's a lot of issues going on. I say maybe 4 or 5, but not 11. Not 11. And I think we know that the music has a major influence. And one of the things that, let's know that not just me, of course, knows this. The youth and the children know this because we present to them, we talk to them, we chop it up with them. Mm-hmm. And the vast majority of them said, yes, of course it does. Now, when we get to the adults,
no question in their mind.
Not much at all. Mm-hmm. Not much at all. But when we get to the adults, that's where we get the questions. That's where we get that's where the problems come in.
And what do they say? What do they?
The adults say it's just music. Leave it alone. It's just entertainment. They're just trying to make money. Not my child. I don't let my child listen to it in my house. Things like that. Yeah.
It would seem that the children would be the ones making those excuses that it's just music, man. I don't let it go to my head. I'm just listening to it and dancing to it.
The children understand it because they hear it. Mm-hmm. The adults don't hear it. Too many adults don't monitor this crap. Mm-hmm. And I'm gonna tell you, I was on with Brother Scotty Reed from Black Talk Radio the other day, and I was asking him about some song, and he was like, "Oh, Kwabena, I'll let you handle that." And I thanked him. I said, "Bro, I thank you for at least letting me get it out of my system, because I do monitor this crap, and it is totally unbelievable what they program and push to the minds of the African masses constantly." 24/7, 365. They may give you an hour off on Sunday morning sometime with some public service program on one of the killer radio stations in Chicago. But the rest of it is just about killing people, about stripping, about how many drugs you taking or selling, about ignorant ass, just unbelievable materialism that none of us really can afford. And it's nonstop.
Nonstop dysfunction.
Nonstop dysfunction. I mean, back to back to back to back to back to back on these radio stations.
And I don't. That is one of my feelings. I really don't monitor these stations that closely. I remember Mays Jackson was talking about he listened to one of these major stations for a weekend, and by the end of the weekend, he was ready to go out and do some damage.
Exactly. Exactly.
Man.
And just imagine if our children, and we're just dealing with the radio. Our movement deals with the radio stations. We kind of understand what Brother Carvin Hagen, who's a Grammy Award-winning producer out of Philadelphia, good brother, and what Rage Against the Ratchet said when they asked him about all the
Rage Against the Ratchet?
Rage Against the Ratchet, yeah.
Right,
yeah,
right.
we like that name. Yeah. But they would put in some good work in Philadelphia.
Uh-huh.
And so one of the things he said when he talked about the other avenues of getting this music, he said, well, this is the big old elephant, but the chunk we're biting on is that radio station, the radio stations. And that's the same ones that we're working on, is the radio stations. Because one thing about the radio, people always bring up, the listeners are going down. Of course, there's so many other options, but they still should not be doing it. And the thing about the radio is that we're listening to it at the same time. Mm-hmm. So I was at a store out in Indiana recently. Listen to the song, monitoring the station, I should say, playing some crappy pornographic violent song. So as I left out to go into the store, sister rides by, she has the same song on. So I'm saying, it's a thing. It's a different thing about people listening to this at the same time.
That's absolutely correct, my brother, and that's a very good point, man. And I had really never even thought about that so much as an argument, but it is a very good point. I remember when it's Funky Enough was out.
DOC?
Yeah, DOC. The man DOC when he was hanging with NWA for a minute. Everybody was rocking that in the car, and it was echoing throughout the entire community.
Yes.
And that was a unique kind of thing at the time. And yeah, I hear that, man. There's a different kind of resonance.
One thing about DOC was interesting, and I definitely put Rakim in this category. DOC, but I give DOC a lot of love because he was with NWA. And if you listen to his music, he wasn't dropping no N-bombs, like especially on that song. He wasn't talking about, the same ratchetness NWA was talking about. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's funky enough. It's like just funky music, and nobody accused him of being soft, just like Rakim. Who says Rakim is soft and not hard? Right. He don't be dropping N-bombs on his people. Right. He don't be talking about killing his people.
Good point, my brother. Good point. Yeah. And they had all the street credibility that you could ask for.
Yes.
And they definitely didn't go into the ratchet vein, not at all. Mm-mm. Yeah, so I mean, what is driving it, man? Why? And then, first of all, hip-hop is such a unique phenomenon, man. I don't think there's any music that has dominated youth culture for as many generations as hip-hop has. Can you think of any other genre?
I can't think of it. I mean, I was in high school when it came out. I mean, everybody was like, everybody memorized Rapper's Delight.
Yeah.
But I got a hold of King Tim III by the Fatback Band.
And so that was really the first hip-hop.
Yeah. So I memorized that and was, you get the pep in the step, the hip in, your hop, you don't stop. I had that going. What is that? So, because the FM station would play that. K-Ace was the brother from Milwaukee, football player, Willie Davis. Mm-hmm. Had that station, KACE in L.A., so they would play that, and I would listen to them. They would play all sorts of great music on that station, too. And we had K-Day and KGFJ and other stations out there in L.A., but I would catch King Tim III, man. I had to get a copy of that. And then, of course, Christmas rap and Funk You Up from Sequence came out, too. But, yeah, so, and none of us had any idea that, like you said, it would be like it is today.
None at all. I mean, it just at first it was kind of sing-songy, as you said with the Curtis Blow. Although that was Christmas, he took it to another level. But there was kind of dismissal of it as an art form in the beginning, by a lot of folks. And yet, man, it has been so pervasive in our community, man, and so deeply rooted. And I used to compare it to bebop. The whole. Bebop, doo-wop, hip-hop, that kind of thing, mm-hmm. That these are trends in our community that come and go and blah, blah, blah. And that was true with bebop and hip-hop, and doo-wop, but it was not true with hip-hop, man. It has stayed and has tenure and is deeply rooted, man. And it's hard to understand why it is so tenacious in our culture.
I think one of the things that, I can't think of the brother's name, but he wrote these books about Menon. Brother out of Chicago.
Yeah. I know. That's a good partner. I forgot his name too, but we used to be pretty tight, man.
Man, he's been going in on the whole genre of rap lately, man. So you should check out some of his stuff. Okay. I'm with him on a lot of it, but he just been going in on that, on the mean mugging and the talking and all the energy that's involved in it. And the homegirl, I shouldn't call her homegirl, our great ancestor, well, she's from Chicago, Dr. Frances Cress Welsing. I mean, right after she transitioned, you know, I was just checking out some of her lectures. And never forget, at the 24-minute mark of this lecture, she said that rap music has annihilated the self-respect of black people. Has annihilated. And we've been using that quote pretty much ever since, because she's correct. They've used it to annihilate our self-respect.
Wow. Well, when she said that, I remember some of that. I was a little bit wary of that kind of blanket denunciation or discrediting of hip hop, because it's such a vital genre, man. So it's so powerful, as you, I'm sure you agree. But it's been used because of its power. It has that unique ability to influence our behavior in ways that other genres haven't had an ability to do. Although, during bebop, people were wearing certain kind of clothes. It was considered the bebop aesthetic and all of that. It didn't last long. But hip hop, people talk about hip hop culture, and what does that exactly mean? And it has been kind of misinterpreted as kind of being this street ratchetness. That's what some people interpret it to mean.
Yeah, and I do a hip hop show. I did it when I was in Louisiana, in college, and when I moved up here to this area, I've been doing it in Gary, Indiana, for like 22 years. A conscious hip hop show.
Yes, sir.
It's called a Weekly Wrap Up, and me and my cousin, she's with me there now. We don't have enough time to play all the conscious hip hop artists or the artists who are making this good music. We don't have enough time to do it.
Dig it.
And so, but what the
name some, just for our audience, name some conscious hip hop artists that people can seek out.
Okay, Brother Add-To out here in the Chicago area, and some of them, I'll say some other things about them, because some of them still drop too many N-bombs. We got to deal with that issue of dropping these N-bombs on our own people.
That makes that you have a problem with the N-word.
That anchors everything else that we see going on. It anchors it all. It anchors the disrespect of the women. It anchors the 400 people plus shot in the U.S. this weekend, 100 plus shot. I guess it's now 130 over the past 5 days in Chicago. That's the main anchor. It's the word that most epitomize hateful, hating yourself.
Dig it.
Niggera, whatever. I think about Yasin Bey, the Mighty Mos Def. I mean, he had a whole album out, Auditorium with Slick Rick, and a nice album out. I had it for like about 2 months, and I realized, wow, he didn't drop not one N-bomb on this album. Now I hear him on with Talib, who can't seem to, he's almost as bad as J. Cole with dropping N-bombs, Talib Kweli. And now Moses back to dropping N-bombs. I'm like, man, dude, don't y'all understand? Yeah, and you got to understand the impact of this word. Words have power. Our ancient ancestors taught us this. I went and saw Talib Kweli near downtown a couple years ago. Man, I almost wanted to cry, man. I'm like, dude, all these Europeans up in here, even if it was all Africans up in here, you can't say a word, you can't make a line without dropping an N-bomb on your own people, man.
And Talib was considered one of the top of the conscious crew at one point.
And still is.
Yeah.
And still is. But, you got to wake up to that. I mean, I think about this weekend, there's so many Africans out here, even though, like you mentioned, on this whole orgy of all this smoke and all the fireworks this weekend, but I'm running into more and more Africans who are righteously not looking at this July 4th as their Independence Day. And so many more who are not celebrating, or, they get with their families and all that, but so many more are coming into that realization. We need all y'all who are coming into that realization also to come into the realization that we should not be dropping N-bombs on each other. We should not be, I don't say the word. I make the word may slip out of my mouth maybe once, maybe twice a year. But I just do not want to say the word. So I just Niggera or Nigga, however you want to spell it. King and queen, later for all that stuff. We all ain't kings and queens. Just, so no, that word, bro, that word is like, every time I hear that, I forgot who posted this, but I share it all the time. Every time I hear that word, I cringe. And I don't have no problem with cringing when I hear it. I don't want to get to the point where it doesn't make me cringe.
I grew up cringing at the word. My folks were not users of the word and discouraged that use. But man, the environment, brother. I mean, it was pervasive, man. And then your conversation didn't have authenticity unless you sprinkled it with that word. And still, that's the case. I mean, if you say it, you know, and especially in a certain in a certain subgenre of hip hop, if you don't use it at least once or twice in your bars, then you don't have that kind of authenticity. You know?
But that's not true. But I mean, I know what you're saying.
Right.
That's a perceived authenticity. But there's so many. Like I said, I listened to that Yasin Bey album for like about 2 months, and I finally realized, hey, wait, he ain't dropping no N-bombs in here. Right on. And it's like nothing. I ain't got to delete nothing. Well, some curse words, but I don't have to delete the N-bomb, which again is worse than all those cuss words to me put together. But I'm glad you pointed that out, because when they try to say, you know, you ain't with the times or whatever. No. Africans been dropping that N-bomb on each other for quite a while, confusingly so. But I think right now, again, it's at another level. And again, we equate it. One of the things I like what Bob Law says about that in his music, he said one of the reasons why they make sure N-bombs are dropped in all this music is to assure their European handlers that they aren't talking about disrespecting and gang raping and drug raping their daughters, that they aren't talking about shooting and killing their sons. So when we see all these Europeans downtown Chicago next week at Lollapalooza, listening to all these ratchet killer artists they're bringing in, the top ones in the country, again, so they'll be, when they hear those N-bombs drop, you know they ain't talking about them.
Oh, there's a code. So there's a code. They understand that this excludes them from that code.
Yes, and how do you do it is dropping them N-bombs.
Yeah, well, okay, man, that's Bob, leave the Bob Law to come up with those provocative pieces.
That's what he does. Yeah.
Yeah, I understand that, man. I can see that they want assurances that it's racially specific.
If you want to rhyme with the ER, you know, call me your brother. Or say I'm your brother. If you got disdain for somebody, you know, rhyme with the ER, call him a sucker, call him something else, but don't drop that. It's the most despicable, disgusting, dangerous word in the history of English or any other language, especially if you're African.
Go ahead, my brother. That's a pretty severe denunciation. You know, when you say that, I was thinking there's this movie out, The Sum of Soul, that's on one of the streaming services, and you know I was there. You know, yeah, my Gumpian. In my Gumpian incarnation, you know, the cats call me the Forrest Gump because I was at a lot of spots. You know, I grew up during the baby boom pinnacle, so I was at a lot of these very pivotal things. I
heard you talk about that on Saturday.
Yeah, I was there, and my uncle lived right across the street from Colonel Young Park. But when you say that, it reminds me because at the time nobody used that word. I mean, people looked at it in the way that you're talking about right now. It was an explosion of this black consciousness, and that word was almost banished, man, from the streets for a while. I remember that very distinctly. And now, but it snuck right on back in. It snuck in, and you know, probably on the heels of gangster rap. I'm not sure if that was it or not, but it snuck right. I mean,
look at Jerry Heller and you know pushing that with that group, my homeboys out of L.A. You know, I because of your suggestion on Saturday, I had a conversation with Dr. Wimbush. He had seen it, and was loving it, and my sister Desi Dez out of Atlanta, and others. So I went to the movie to see it. First time going to the movie since this thing hit. I went to the movie theater on Sunday night to avoid all that noise. And man, I went and saw the movie. I was the only one in the theater.
Is that right?
Only one in the theater. Man, because it was it was Sunday night.
Well, what theater was this?
It was in Maryville.
Okay, all right.
I was like, man, this is crazy. I'd never been like that, but I just wish I could have took up a bunch more seats, but had my popcorn, man. Bro, I'm gonna tell you. And I talked to my comrade Marcia out of New Jersey. One of your homegirls from New Jersey. She works with Educate to Empower, the deaf on that N-bomb. And she was, I told her, I said, not one N-bomb in the whole movie.
Yeah, that's right.
And that movie had me in tears and had me, Stevie on that piano.
Ooh, man. He was getting it, wasn't he?
Man. Mahalia and Mavis.
Together?
Oh, man.
A tandem? Man, that was a soulful tandem, man. It made me say, man, I wanna hear some gospel.
You know? And then you think about, when you see the Fifth, I love the Fifth Dimension. Mm-hmm. Oh, man, just to see them doing their thing there. You know, had Marilyn McCoo and Billy Davis interviewing them.
And they was exactly right, man, because they were kind of suspect in the black community at that time because they were kind of hippie-ish, and there was a little division between those two aesthetics, you know, the hippie aesthetic and where black folks were going. But they merged the two in a really successful way, and the kind of love that was shown to them, you know, exhibited that.
Yes, and that was my father and moms. You know, that was the crew. Some of the crew they hung out with in L.A. So I had that little connection too. There's I think Marilyn's sister and some of that. That's you know, they grew up in that. That sort of spot, man. So I just love the Fifth Dimension and just see David Ruffin come out there, man. Y'all check out that movie. And again, that's culture. That's music. Music culture is everything. And you know, I used to go when I was a child. I didn't make it to the Watts Summer Festival, but my daddy was like the PR man for the Watts Summer Festival.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah. So so I went to one of the later concerts. I think Stevie was there at the next one, and we used to have the concerts in the park, Festival in Black, all that stuff we go to and enjoy, and wouldn't be all this craziness. Now, can you imagine if we had a concert today with the top stars? And the songs that they have today, like telling us to kill each other, what would be happening?
Man, I mean, when that song by Megan Thee Stallion came out, Thought, SHT, you know.
Oh, WAP?
Thought shit.
Another one called Thought.
That isn't it? What's
I know the one she did with was that her? Yeah, her and Cardi B was WAP.
WAP, yeah,
but she
got one out now called, I think,
she had
shit. What is it, man?
Man.
What does it rhyme?
Let me look it up real quick.
Okay.
So she has so many ratchet ones. I mean, but I know what you're saying. The first one she came out with Hot Girl Summer and this whole, it's just straight porn.
Straight porn, man. And they got and the thing about it is now they got.
It's called Thought Shit. SHIT. Thought Shit. Yeah.
Man. Dig it. That's straight porn. And they got young sisters, you know, they do these TikTok dances off of this music, and they do elaborate routines. And they actually are using this for, I mean, it's just so that the standards have sunk beneath sub-zero, you know? I hate to act as if I'm kind of a prude, and I hear prudish tones coming out of my voice, but man, we can't accept that kind of stuff.
I told my father when I said I mentioned him in this whole question he asked me about the numbers of killings. I said also I'm gonna mention something my mother told me years ago when we were been struggling with this for a minute, and she was like, promoting all the sex in this music is really a waste of time and distracted. And she said because people gonna have sex anyway. You're here, I'm here. People were having children and because the creator. I mean, I think about Franklin the Jive when he talked about Franklin, that's a bad dude. I love Franklin. Yeah. One piece he has, we talk about when the creator was making us, he asked Gabriel to bring some more sensitive nerve endings into certain parts of the body, while he was making us. So we would continue the species.
Exactly.
So that's going to happen already anyway. So again, this is a waste of time. It's a distraction to our youth. It over-sexualization of our people. We would ask that when we would do these presentations up until a few years ago, we would ask the people, name me the three female artists the only three female artists that you hear. And I'm telling you, 90% of the time, everybody would get it right. It was Beyonce, Rihanna, and Nicki Garbage. Mm-hmm. That's Beyonce, Rihanna, Nicki every time. Beyonce, then all of a sudden, they manufacture a Cardi B gone. So here she comes now, and she is the first artist in the history to have her first 5 singles to make it to the top 10. That wasn't done organically. They did that. And then after her, here comes the City Girls, here comes Megan, here comes Doja Cat. All the other female rappers that they push and promote to the masses of our people are pretty much just straight pornographic. I heard something on the radio the other day, I deep throat or something and it don't hurt. Or something she was saying, so it was something like that. On the radio, unedited, on these European-owned radio stations in Chicagoland that specifically target not just African people, but African children and African youth.
Yes, sir. Robert, man, your argument is so compelling, so logical. It is so difficult for me to understand why you're not the top network stations making your point, man. It's so logical. It's hard to understand why black people can't get into that. We'll have you answer that question when we come back from this break. We'll be back right after this.
WIIFTBP.
WIIFTBP. Media's just for you and me. WIIFTBP. Media's just for you and me.
Broken screen? Crash system? Are you in need of spyware or virus removal from your computer? Well, contact RPC Computer Repair in South Shore and let us help you with all your computer repair services and print needs. Need office or print production services, copies, scans, fax, or even notary service? Then stop by and support RPC Computer Repair and Print Shop located 1741 East 71st Street in the 71st Street corridor, newly revitalized South Shore areas, and let RPC be your one-stop shop, where we believe RPC is your PC. RPC Computer Repair is also a UPS access point where you can drop off and pick up your important packages. So let RPC be of service to you. Call RPC Computer Monday through Saturday, 8 a.m. through 6 p.m. at 773-966-4457. That's 773-966-4457. Visit RPC at rpccomputeringinc.com for more information.
Shop at Black-owned and operated Solo Beauty, where you are appreciated and respected. Located at 8158 South Cottage Grove, Solo Beauty can supply all of your black hair care needs. Solo Beauty is open from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m., Tuesday through Saturday.
Check, 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 check. Oh, please, don't you rock my boat, 'cause I don't want my boat to be right. Oh, please, don't you rock my boat. Oh, no, 'cause I don't want my boat to be right. I'm telling you just, I like it like this. Keep this just like this. And you should know by now. I like it. I like it like I like it. I like it like I like it. I like it like I like it like this. Yeah. Satisfy my soul. Oh yeah. Satisfy my soul. Every little action.
And we're back. Muwakkil'S World with Brother Kwabena. And there's that brother Sam Trump with that beautiful a cappella rendition of Marley's classic, Satisfy My Soul. Brother Kwabena, like I say, man, your argument is just so logical. It's almost redundant, just making it because it's so obvious, that you can't listen to this kind of stuff and not be affected by it. But people will say to you, what's the alternative? Obviously, maybe this is what young people want to hear. Maybe this is, as some people argue, and as I often note, that art reflects reality, and black youth live in this dysfunctional these dysfunctional communities where fratricide is common sense for many of them. And they're just making music to reflect that, right? How do you respond to that?
We get a lot of the alternative. First, I'm going to deal with the alternative. What's the alternative? The alternative, we always say the alternative is here. It's already here. There's plenty of artists. I mentioned earlier, me and my cousins, we do this weekly wrap-up, this conscious hip-hop show. We don't have time to play all the good music these conscious artists and these artists make. We're about having fun and not dissing the people. And we appreciate that and we applaud them because they know the chances of them getting mainstream success in this ratchet music industry that evidently is scared and hates black people or has an alternative motive to kill black people, that their chances of getting heard is very slim. But yet they still refuse to disrespect their people, disrespect their elders, disrespect their children. They refuse to. And so we love that. And I called out one ad too in you asked me to do a few more. Big Crit, D1, my homeboy Young Conda, Don, that brother's cold, out of Gary. We still got Public Enemy making good music, still got our brother Speech and that's Arrested Development making good music. Common still making good music. Lupe Fiasco and Common, again, those are the two of the most world-renowned hip-hop artists, and you never hear them on Chicago slop hop radio. Never. Right.
That's true.
And people may not like this artist or whatever, but you can't say that them brothers aren't popular and can't rap and have some good messages. One of the things Common says in one of his songs, with Robert Glasper, he says, I Stand Alone is the name of the song, but one line he says is, not just my kids want the best for his. I mean, there it is right there. There it is. And I want the best for his. And the best for ours is, not what we're getting on these European-owned radio stations. No Heart. We call them No Heart. They're called iHeart. And they spew this poison all throughout the country, in Philadelphia and New York and Nap, St. Louis, all around the country. They spew Atlanta, this poisonous music to the masses.
And again, what is their justification, Kwabena? How do they, when you present them, and I know that you've been challenging them, your group and other groups have been challenging them, how do they respond to that challenge? What is their argument for proliferating this kind of stuff on the radio?
Oh wow! His sister's name, she wrote a column. We were going out to McDonald's, the first black-owned McDonald's in the country, on Stony and 66, Stony Marquette in that area. We did it for over a year, and it was because they buy commercials. They finance this degrading music on both Power 92.3 and GCI. And so when we first got out there, sister, she's a columnist for real popular. She does popular, and also she's controversial. Mary.
Yeah. Okay.
Mary Mitchell.
Mary Mitchell, yes, sir.
Yeah, she wrote a column on our issue, and then right away we got that meeting with GCI and Earl Jones. Earl Jones ends up throwing us out the meeting, ending the meeting on us. Me, Brother Bernard, Brother Kojo were out there. And a couple things he said. He said that one of the things he said was we should go to the labels and deal with the labels. I said, no, we shouldn't. If a label brings a song to you that's got 60 N-bombs in it, that tells you to kill black people and calls our women B's and H's and talks about porn, you tell the label, don't send me no more SHIT like this. We're not playing it. Don't send me no more. Which is what we got to go to labels for. And he tried to get us to join some public service group, and our brother BC was like, "Man, we ain't come in for that." So he ended up ending the meeting.
So he said his argument is that they simply present what the labels send them, or
yeah,
okay.
It's like the limbo. If I made a rap and they send my rap, you gonna play that? I can't rap. I may be able to repeat some of Gangstar's, Rakim, somebody's lyrics, but I can't rap, man. So, but anyway, so that was just crazy. So then we, once again, this was the same year all this killing was going on, and we got another meeting with them because of some information we wrote in demonstrations. And Mascarano, Earl Jones was gone to do some with iHeart, and now Mascarano from Atlanta, who's pushing that poison in Atlanta, comes up here. So we meet with him and others at GCI. And I had talked to Brother Obari and Brother Opio, a few other brothers, even Brother Cassius, about what we should talk about when we get in there, the mental health issues that are affected by this, and just how y'all should just stop it. And I even told Scarano, I said, man, this was 2016, the year we had 780 people murdered, and it started off bad. And I told him, wait, dude, if you implemented this, said we're not playing any more of this type of music, you would be a hero in Chicago. I'll try. You'd be a hero out here if you did that. Later for that, man. Oh, black people gonna lose jobs. This is what they want to hear. Same old typical stuff that he was spewing. But he was just doing their company line and I guess helping them out with their mission. And then,
black people gonna lose jobs. That's because the people who are involved in this in promoting this kind of music are gainfully employed, and they would be less gainfully employed if this music stopped.
Yeah, and even at iHeart at that time.
Okay.
And what we're understanding right now, ain't that many black people at iHeart now. They've been letting them go anyway, and they still spewing that poison to our children. Then we ask them, how can you as a white man justify playing music on these radio stations that call black women B's and H's? And his answer was, they consider me black around here.
That was his response. Yeah,
that was his response. They consider me black around here. I should have did like my brother did and turned over tables like Jesus did. But man, it's just ridiculous, man. And this group called Just Do Better or Do Better Now. And a lot of people have been seeing this. So they always send this to me periodically, and it gets hot periodically. White Mike is his name. Why Black Murder is Normalized. It's on YouTube. You've seen it?
I've seen it.
I've
seen one of them. One of those episodes.
Yeah, really good piece. And but their group shared with us. They did some surveys on GCI, and they said every time they play a pornographic song or sexual explicit song on WGCI, iHeart's station that targets European youth called KISS. Every time a GCI plays 25, KISS will get one in. So 25-to-1 ratio of sexually explicit songs on iHeart station that targets African youth, WGCI, as compared to their station that targets European youth, KISS. Same corporation, same age group, only difference is one's African, one's European. When it came to violence, it was a 50-to-1 ratio. Every time, KISS would have one violent reference, GCI would have 50.
Wow. That is so stark. That division is so stark. It would seem that it would embarrass, the station execs that allow that to be perpetuated, man. But it's not embarrassing, huh?
No, they have no morals. We call them violent grown audio pedophiles. And we call them pedophiles because they push that poison, that pornography to our children. You had mentioned something about how life imitates art, art imitates life.
Right.
I agree with Brother Paris, who's another rapper who still give the summer drum is cut by him on his previous album that we play a lot on our show. Nice, beautiful song. You got one called Truce Music. He has a new album out dealing with gentrification, all kind of stuff.
Yeah, I've heard some of that.
Yeah, Paris, still a bad brother, giving us good music.
Doesn't Paris drop M-bombs?
Yeah, he drops too many M-bombs. We wrote an article checking him on that craziness.
Okay.
Come on, Paris.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Rhapsody. Come on, sister. I know you with Jay-Z's label, so he probably going to make sure that you do that. Oh, man. I mean, me and my cousin fight about playing J. Cole because he dropped too many N-bombs. The brother can rap, as everybody knows. He can flow. Good. But can you rap a line without dropping N-bombs? You disrespect your mama's side of the family?
Yeah. And so their arguments about authenticity don't sway you at all. About the N-bomb that we've appropriated the word and changed it and repurposed it and all of that. No good.
Never ignorant, getting goals accomplished. That's my uncle's godson, Tupac Amaru Shakur. Your comrade Afeni.
Yes.
Batulu, family. That's family. But later for that.
Yeah.
What goal he got accomplished instead of losing his life, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
No. Later for that, man. It's not good try. It's a good try, and it's all going back to ancient Kemet and ancient Ethiopia and
Higas.
Yeah, KRS-One and going back to come on, man. You made Brown Skinned Women when you really a great song, checking that, and now all of a sudden you're like big up and dropping N-bombs, and he still doesn't do it much in his music at all.
Right.
So evidently he must still know. We're just trying to placate to that, man. Dude, I'm gonna tell you, a lot of stuff happening in hip hop, especially with the elders in hip hop. Y'all like the blue code of silence, man. Y'all like the police.
In what way?
You don't check. You're not checking. You're not checking the youth like you should. You're not coming out against this stuff that's obviously blatantly wrong.
You know what? I've heard cats get checked on that. They say, well, man, they don't want to seem like, you know, the prudes that tried to check them, and you know, when they were exploding, when hip hop was exploding and challenging a lot of previous norms, and they were being checked by the elders. They don't want to be that force on these young cats, on the shorties. They think that they should have their freedom, aesthetic freedom, to make the kind of music that they want to make.
They sound like the FCC.
Oh, the FCC is supposed to monitor these kind of things.
Supposed to, man. But you know, when it goes, I want to go make a point about a couple songs that right before I went home, Memorial Day weekend, I was monitoring the stations out here, and I heard the iHeart station say that the number one song in the country was "Back in Blood," and this is a Chicago rapper, Lil Durk, and Pooh Shiesty. You ever heard of Pooh Shiesty?
Pooh Shiesty, yeah. I just recently heard of him. Yes.
Pooh Shiesty out of Memphis. I ain't got nowhere to go. I done shot up everywhere they was. That's in the chorus of the song. That's been played.
That's the chorus?
That's the chorus of the song, so it's repeated again and again. I ain't got nowhere to go. I done shot up everywhere they was.
It's they ain't got nowhere to go. We done shot up everywhere they was.
Okay, well, same meaning, right?
That's
same
even worse.
Yeah, that's even worse, right.
Say it again.
Exactly.
They don't have anywhere to go. We done shot up everywhere they was.
Okay, they said, they ain't got nowhere to go.
Because he after his ops. So everywhere his opposition has been, he's shot up. So
but check the lyrics again for me, too. I mean, it's still worse. Because I don't know why I thought he said, I ain't got nowhere to go. I done shot up everywhere they was. Check them lyrics for me. But regardless, so this brother is in a strip club in Florida. The week after the song, they announced this song's the number one song in the country. He shoots a security guard in the leg. And I don't know if he's still in jail, but he stayed in jail for a while. Durk's older brother at a strip club, also out in near south suburbs, Dalton somewhere.
Nah, you was right.
Yeah.
That's it. I ain't got nowhere to go. I shot up everywhere they was.
I mean, just think about that.
Yeah, that's pretty rough, man.
It's in the chorus. It's in the chorus. And so now, man, the Durk's brother loses his life. Somebody, I see him outside the club, shoots him in the head, and he's gone. And these are the artists who made this song, number one song in the country. You know, one of them's locked up now, he may be out. You know, he was in trouble for earlier shooting in Florida. And Durk's big brother's gone. At a strip club.
And that increases their record sales. So. I mean, that's the insidious thing that's. I mean, there's many insidious things about it. And you know, I have to admit, brother, that I've been slowly converted to your. I mean, I understand, man, that you know this kind of music. If you feed a certain kind of aesthetic food to people, it produces a certain kind of behavior. But I also am wary of the censorious impulses. I know that you know that's a fascist impulse.
Did
man,
you make that word up? Because you and them words,
censorious, man.
That's a word.
Yeah.
Look, my uncle Geronimo, my daddy's pretty sharp dude too. But they would go play Scrabble when we go visit. They playing Scrabble. And Uncle G was cold in Scrabble, but they would go at it. Well, I would have loved you to have a Scrabble game, man. Ooh, boy, you know them words, man. Wow.
Yeah. I mean, that attitude is something that I'm wary of as well, man. And you find out that in any society, if you opt for the idea that the art produces the behavior, then that leads you to a kind of a censorious attitude that you want to stop. You want to stop a certain kind of expression because it may lead to a certain kind of behavior. But the other side, the libertarian side, the side that allows for artistic expression, is that, well, look, you have to allow artists to be themselves. You have to allow them to express what they have to express, because that you know, that's the kind of artistic you know, openness that allows for the best kind of social outcomes.
Yeah.
How do you respond to that?
I mean, I think about, again, I was at the theater by myself watching that movie, and somebody in that theater, if it was packed, yelled, you know, fire, with no fire, whatever, you know, you can't do that. You know,
that's right.
Our community right now is that theater. And what they're pushing to the masses of our people, they're yelling fire.
Okay.
They're yelling shoot and kill people. So it is right now, it's killing us.
Okay.
It's actually killing. This stuff is killing us. I got to tell you about another song, Beatbox. So the sister in Gary was talking about bringing her son to school one day, and he turned the radio on, and they were playing Cry Baby. Now, Cry Baby is Megan Pete and Megan the male horse, excuse me, and the baby.
That's right, because a stallion is a male horse, right?
It's
so
a male
there's
horse.
kind of some contradiction there, right?
Very much so. And I'd all just be straight up. Back when I was in school, big fine sister, we would call them stallion.
That's true. That's right. That's right.
And I didn't think about it till I, till it was making. But so, Cry Baby. Cry Baby is in the backdrop is I don't know if it's a trance or whatever it is at the beginning of the video in a toy store. In a toy store where children, attracting children, and the baby does this usual thing, just lewd, rapping, and then Megan comes on there, and all the while they're like humping the ground and gyrating and twerking, and it's all in a toy store atmosphere. And so she couldn't take it anymore, so she turned the radio off. And then while I was in Nap at the time, so I was looking at how often the No Heart station in Nap was playing this crap, and this was Easter Sunday, this past Easter Sunday. And they played Cry Baby 14 times between 4 o'clock in the morning and 7 o'clock at night. It was 7 o'clock that evening. 14 times they played Cry Baby. But I kept seeing the song beatbox also. And so I knew the song. I heard it before, but beatbox. And the song is Drago making beatbox by Pooh Shiesty is in the song by Spot 'em, Got 'em. and that so what does that mean? It's just straight up tell you, I spot him, so I got him, I'm gonna kill him. And they played beatbox just as many times. Drake hit him in the spine, knock his dreads off. So if you hit somebody in the spine, they're trying to get away from you. Mm-hmm. The police do that, of course, that's even worse. So, they shot him in the back, you shoot your own brother in the back because maybe he said something, or you too high. Anyway, but this song is constantly played on the radio all over the country. There's a remix to it where any and everybody's gotten on the remix. There's a dance they do, a silly little dance they do. I'm watching an NBA basketball game, and Phoenix Suns has clinched one playoff series, not this one to go to the championship, and the players on the side doing that shoot black people in the back dance. LeBron James doing that dance. Yes. The baby has a line in that song where he says, "She do whatever I say. I'll piss in a cup and call it lemonade."
Ooh, brother.
Play it on the radio.
Yes, sir. And we act as if it's absolutely innocuous stuff. We like it's party time. That's what we're dancing to, and it is normalized in our community, absolutely normalized. And then we wonder why our fratricide rate is so high.
And ain't nobody hardly saying nothing. I see the police chief, I see the mayor, I see other activists, I see everybody. They say everything else. Like,
they just had a meeting with David Brown, the new police superintendent. They asked him what is the crime strategy, and he talked about all the particulars, the police particulars. But this cultural element is never addressed in any kind of serious way, and it may be the most important.
It is the most important. Mm-hmm. It is, because culture is everything, and music we just love. I mean, I know how you love music because I listen to you, and you just
love it.
Musicologist. Is that the right word?
That's good. That's
okay,
good.
I got one. Probably, thanks, Prince. But yeah, so there it is, bro. Kool Moe Dee had this rap, and it's still on YouTube, where he talked about how when it comes to white folks and this sort of media and art, they'll be like, "Where's your responsibility? You have where are morals and all that?" But when it comes to dealing with black people, they always bring up the First Amendment and free speech rights and all that, and censorship. It was a good piece by Kool Moe Dee. He has one like that, and so does Wise Intelligent has another one that a lot of people have seen too. We talk about the artists, because people ask us, why y'all don't get on the artists more? And we don't let the artists off the hook. However, we know that they're just puppets. If Bobby Shmurda goes to jail for 6 years, they'll come up with somebody else. If the brother in Montgomery gets shot and killed, they'll replace him with somebody else. Mm-hmm. We had 200 rappers die in 2020. At least 200. There's a video of that. Right? Yes. Man. Oh, you should just check out the video.
What is it on YouTube?
It's on YouTube.
Just 200 rappers?
200 rappers died in 2020. And they do that every year. Mm-hmm. They do that every year, the number of rappers that died this year, which is crazy.
Man, it's crazy.
But this thing is we had MF Doom died. Mm-hmm. And so they show him, of course. They show Ecstasy. They showed, what's the brother from The Roots that passed? Not Malik B.
Malik B.
It was a Malik B?
Yeah, Malik B.
Yeah, they show them, and they show a couple others that may have died of maybe natural or other causes. Mm-hmm. but they show little snippets of their videos and songs, and the vast majority of these rappers who died from gunshots. In England, it's because they're doing so much drill music over there. It's a lot of stabbings they're dying from. So 200, bro. And that saga continues this year. 2020 showed the highest increase in gun violence and murders in the U.S. history from year to year. 2020. Yeah, it did. 2021 is worse than that. It's even worse this year.
And you mentioned England, man. I saw in Birmingham, in England, which is kind of the drill capital, and crime, the same thing. I mean, the phenomena is almost there's a partnership, there's a tandem when it comes to the music and crime, and that how more obvious can you get?
I know, bro. I always say this. It's unbelievable. I monitor the stations. I'm like, it's unbelievable that they playing that crap. And sometimes the children say the same thing. I can't believe they playing that. I was talking to Chairman Fred the other day. He was when he was out of state. He was in the city, and he was in ATL.
Fred Hampton Jr.
Yeah, Fred Hampton Jr. He was saying he couldn't believe some of the stuff they were playing on Atlanta radio, and others say, I can't believe they playing this crap. Can't believe they playing this crap. And also the other can't believe is that we haven't stopped it yet.
Yeah, that's the worst you can't believe.
Yeah.
That you don't have a big army behind you, man. You should be the general of the
you know?
army, brother.
And I don't necessarily have to be that. I'm like, we got Carvin, we got Bob, we got Dr. Ife Williams, and we had hearings recently where it was the music industry's how the music industry is harming the black community. The weaponization of hip hop. After my brother Creamer's book, he just came out with this book. I think we talked about it last time, called "Who Stole the Soul: The Weaponization of Hip Hop" by Bernard Creamer, Chicago's own.
Okay,
got to check that book out. He's one of our comrades in this movement to clear the airways.
Who stole the soul?
Who stole the soul? And so we had Dr. Ife, and Dr. Ife Williams is in charge of the National Congress of Black Women, who previously only had two other previous leaders, and one was Shirley Chisholm, who founded it, and C. Dolores Tucker. And so she's now, and she's still one of our comrades in the struggle. She had a real good book out too, man, on Dick Gregory. Who? Oh, you need to talk to her on Dick Gregory.
Okay.
She did. That was her best friend. But so she was on there with us, of course.
See, Dolores Tucker used to be the hip hop's enemy. We cast her as an enemy at one point. You remember those days, right?
I was always with C. Dolores Tucker, always with her on this issue. And it's funny because hopefully this brother's doing this song, and we were talking, he mentioned C. Dolores, so we had a conversation about her. And he says in this song that I realized she was right now. And a couple things. Let me do this, of course, first. We were at a Hakeem Matabuti school, and we had a program on the music, and we have these posters that said, Kodak Black and Rick Ross are wrong. Black women are not B's and H's. And we had them up all around. I was like, and somebody brought her up and said something bad about her. And I was like, you know what? If we had listened to her, we wouldn't have to have these embarrassing posters hanging around this African-centered school, talking about why our sisters are called B's and H's, if we had listened to her. But the brother brought up how she said something about her sex life. Tupac had ruined her sex life or something. Back in the day. And I was like, dude, I remember that. And that was the only questionable thing I had back then about everything she was talking about. And I back then, and I was in college, just coming out of college back then. And so I understood, that one piece, but the rest of that stuff, she's in a meeting with these executives and said, okay, why is it okay for us to call our women NBs? Can we call y'all women Jewish H's? Just she was making it plain.
And they said no.
Yeah, and then my brother KRS-One with Channel Live, they do a song about Free and Mumia. I'm like, right on, I can't wait to get that bad. Whole album's bad. But when I heard Free Mumia, I'm like, why are you dogging out C. Dolores Tucker? What does that got to do with Free and Mumia? Something like so. Anyway, but she was with us.
Yeah, well, I mean, she seemed to be an opponent at the time, and we'll talk about that when we come back from this break, man. We'll be right back.
WIIFTBP.
WIIFTBP. Media's just for you and me. WIIFTBP. Media's
Introducing your trusted source for high-quality Black emojis, better known as Blackmoji. We believe Black is beautiful, and that beauty should be reflected in the digital market. Now there is an app that does just that, starting with Black Greek letter organizations. Blackmoji D9 offers more than an emoji app. It is a cultural experience of Black excellence. Download the app in the Apple or Google Play Store to access a specially curated catalog of emojis representing the Divine Nine. Use the emojis to celebrate Black Greek events, acknowledge current events, support social causes, and learn about esteemed Black Greek members who blaze the trail of Black history. A portion of every subscription goes toward a scholarship fund specifically for members of Black Greek letter organizations to help keep the legacy alive. Download the Blackmoji app today.
Well, sometimes I go out by myself and I look across the water, and I think of all the things what you're doing, and in my head I paint a picture. Since I've come home, well, my body's been a mess, and I miss your ginger hair and the way you like to dress. But won't you come on over? Stop making a fool out of me. Why don't you come on over, Valerie? Did you have to go to jail? Put your house on up for sale. Did you get a good lawyer? I hope you didn't catch a tan. I hope you find the right man who'll fix it for you. And are you shopping anywhere? Change the color of your hair. Are you busy? And did you have to pay this fine that you've been dodging all the time? Are you still dizzy? Oh, yeah. Since I've come home, well, my body's been a mess, and I miss your ginger hair and the way you like to dress. Won't you come on over? Oh, stop making a fool out of me. Why don't you come on over there?
And we're back in Muwakkil'S world with Brother Kwabena Rasuli. And on the track, that's that brother, Sam Trump, with his a cappella wonders. That's a cut called Valerie. Boy, my cousins in New York, they love that song.
When it came out?
I think it's not just out now.
Okay, yeah, because it sounds like, and man, that's what we're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
There's plenty of good music. We should deal with the whole spectrum of music, man. There's just so much good music, and people still making good music.
Beautiful, man. Absolutely right, man.
It's nice.
Yeah, it is very nice, man. By the way, I'm not wearing a hat because there's some folks who say they've never seen me without a hat on. So I wanted to let you know that I actually have a head, and this is what it looks like. So be treated to it. Yes, sir, Brother Kwabena. You have a collective, man, that's trying to present an alternative to a lot. When people say to you, "Okay, man, you don't like this music. What are you giving us? What do you say is available as an alternative, and why isn't it more available to young people?" How do you respond to that?
We get a lot of the music that we get to play on our show from the young people. Mm-hmm. Because they're in tune to a lot of other music than this garbage that disrespects their people. I was at a school board meeting in Gary one time, and they had at their events, we playing a lot of this ratchet stuff. So I would get on them and talk about this issue. Wherever we go, we talk about this issue. And so I went to a child or a student, a high school student, to ask him about this song was out. And he didn't know, but his mama knew. That was crazy. His mama, oh, that's such and such. Oh, wow. I said, what? I said, yeah. So, but I get that a lot, and we get that a lot. But I always push back that our goal is to get it off. Somebody else handle that. You know, we do our conscious hip hop show and whatever. But I'm part of this. Not only do I work with the National Black Leadership Alliance with Bob Law, I was one of their representatives to the Nubian Leadership Circle.
Nubian Leadership Circle?
Yeah, man, okay. out of really all around the country. Yeah, but our brother Cambone deals with that. He kind of runs that, brother to Boston, good brother, that I met in Boston around Malcolm X. Oh, hopefully we'll talk about Malcolm X Street in Gary before we get out.
Okay.
But around some of the Malcolm X things.
I know brother Cambone quite well. He used to always call the station, and we have deep conversations.
Yes. That's our comrade, and he runs this. And he's one of the leaders of the Nubian Leadership Circle. And so we've had some summits. We had one in December, the first one, and we had one in April. And so one of the cadre sessions is one of the cadres is arts and culture. And so, you know, I was one of the presenters on that session, mainly dealing with this issue, but others dealing with other issues, and alternatives came up. And it's good sister out of L.A., Dick Gregory's daughter, Ayana was on there with us, a few other people. But we said we're going to form this Elevated Artist Collective.
Elevated Artist Collective.
Yes.
I like that.
So we're in the process of working that out. Right now, we're going to be presenting it to the people very soon. And we want our art to be committed, our creative work to be committed to uplifting the African masses and not doing anything that's detrimental to the African masses. So that's coming up. So not just hip hop artists, you know, artists who draw, artists who do poetry, artists, because at a time such as this,
we need it all.
That's what we need, man.
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
That's what we need.
I mean, that was the same attitude, man, during the cultural nationalist period in our history when Imam Baraka and other brothers said, "Look, man, our artistic expression has to inspire us."
Yes, you know Larry Neal. Larry Neal.
I do indeed. Yes,
okay.
Sir. Him and Leroy Jones were tight.
Yeah,
you know?
okay.
Yeah.
Because Bob always talks about that. He talks about Larry Neal. Who's Larry? So good. So
yeah, man. He all of them cats came out kind of the black beat movement at one point. Leroy Jones, Larry Neal. There's a few.
I see our brother Lombe
Braith.
Yes.
Yeah, Lombe Braith. He was on another thing, but these cats came. They all merged eventually because Leroy Jones moved uptown and became Imam Baraka. And Larry Neal came with him, and a whole lot of those cats they switched from that kind of nonconformist beatnik thing to serious cultural nationalists.
And again, Chairman Fred and others talk about how they got with James Brown, bro. You got to give us something. And he deliver or what?
He did indeed, man.
He delivered with Say It Loud.
Oh man, that changed a whole lot of paradigms. Man. Just that song alone, you know, amazing. But it was during this period, man. That same thing, the Summer Soul thing. That was a spirit that was at large during that time.
We were coming up on the 50th anniversary of the 72 convention in Gary. So
yes,
again, hopefully we'll be ready to get some people to come back on definitely and talk about.
Is there going to be any kind of a organized attempt to to celebrate that period?
Yes, okay. Celebrate, recognize, and look at our conditions, especially in Gary, bro. It's going to be tough to celebrate it.
So what's happening in Gary these days, man? I know you were in a campaign to get a street name changed. What's going on?
We've been struggling since 2000, I think, to get a street named in honor of Malcolm X, man, in a 90% black city. Wow. Where the community, where the people, when we come to them with a petition, we come to 10 people, 9 of them sign it right away. Well, let's just say 8 of them. One may have a question, the other one say, no, I ain't doing it. But a lot of them, some of the ones who ain't doing it, because they got to put their address, they may be on paper, they won't take a chance. Right. But I'm telling so overwhelmingly the people have been forward, man. But when we get to the government and administration, it's been like pulling teeth.
Well, why is that, man? It's a predominantly black administration, right?
Man, and we talking about when we first started, it was a Scott the King administration, and his name is Scott King, but we call him Scott the King. Okay. Because it was just that epitomizes self-hate that runs rampant in the African communities all around this country, especially in Gary, because the self-hate runs rampant, that you would have that guy be elected that many times to be your leader and control resources in your community. But so even though we put it forth during this, the administration, the city council, many of them were supportive, but it didn't get through the zoning and planning with all sorts of lies, black people running that. Then a white boy come in, he come in, we presented again. Well, I can't see why y'all ain't have a street named after Malcolm X already. White boy said that.
Wow.
Still struggle with the next mayor came in and he was getting close. Oh yeah, I'll go with the honorary. I said, no, brother, you signed a petition before you were mayor, and the petition has nowhere about honorary. It says rename the street Malcolm X. So the previous administration, you all's Urban League leader now, Karen Freeman Wilson, Mayor Wilson, right before she got out of office, we went back at it again. She signed an executive order for Malcolm X Drive. It runs through the whole city. So she's finally signed it. And at the same time, that's when Mayor Hatcher transitioned right around that time. And so she also signed an executive order to rename Grant Street in honor of Mayor Hatcher. It's supposed to go into place July 2020. Didn't happen. We've been one of the people spearheading the whole Malcolm X Street, and we introduced that Richard Hatcher Street during the 40th anniversary of when he was elected. And so we didn't hear anything from the administration. We got it from the news that they weren't going to do it at that time.
Despite the executive order? I mean, how did they justify that?
There was something wrong in the executive order. Whatever. And then we find out later that city council attorney said there was nothing wrong with the Malcolm X executive order, because we went through hell and high water answering questions, giving them borders, doing this, helping with the post office, whatever you got to do with the post office, which really doesn't make a difference. Even in Chicago, just recently with the whole name.
Drive.
Yeah, they said, well, don't worry about the post office. That's what they do. They handle that. You can tell them and then let them do what they do. So excuses like that, but the attorney said, I ain't do nothing wrong with Malcolm X. I got all the I's dotted and the T's crossed. And so, what's the problem there? Maybe some issues with Hatcher because it's right before she got out of office, and I don't know. And I talked to Mayor Wilson at a recent program when the Jackson 5 signage got put up. I saw her there and said a good rap with her. She wasn't aware of anything she did wrong, but she said if that's what they're saying, okay, but they can fix it. So we had a conversation with the mayor finally again, and he admitted they can fix it. So supposed to let us know a week after we met him. That was in May. He was on the radio, and Gary asked him the other day. I've been texting him, trying to find out what's up. No update.
Okay. So that's at a stalemate then, right? At this point.
Well, the question, and one of my comrades said you should just ask him when you on there, are you going to rescind those executive orders from the previous mayor a year and a half later? Are you going to just rescind them? Or what you going to do? Because we need that. I mean, the reason why we need Malcolm X Street and Gary, we need his example of constant evolution. We need his example of standing up for his people, love of his people, encouraging our brothers and sisters to get out there and get off the drugs and work and, struggle against this European domination and love yourself and take care of your, all that. That's the example we need. And everybody knows that. They talked about Malcolm in the movie we just saw.
Yep.
Same thing with on Richard Hatcher. I mean, here you have the first, along with Carl Stokes, the first mayor of a major U.S. city in this racist country after all that we went through, and you're not properly honoring him. And it's not like, I don't know, bro. It's tough, man.
So, but what's the situation in Gary? I mean, how are the domestic statistic? I mean, what's the unemployment rate? I mean, how is Gary doing?
I would say the unemployment rate has to be around 50%.
50%,
especially for black men. Man, I would say
that's abysmal, brother.
Yeah.
Ooh. And the crime. So obviously, the crime rate is also pretty high, right?
The crime rate may have. Let me go back to that because I was at a Juneteenth program a couple of years ago, and we were. I was standing up with like 5 brothers, and I asked them about about the job situation, and I was the only one working.
Wow.
I was the only one working.
You're an engineer, though, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So your job security is baked in, essentially, right?
Man, I'm struggling right now. I'm working for myself right now, but it's still. I mean, there's still a bunch of work to be done. Like one of the issues in Gary right now, and we struggle with every year, is all the infrastructure work that's going on. You rarely see African people working.
That's happening in Gary as well.
Oh, man, we even have police. One day I was riding down Broadway, which hopefully one day will become Michael Jackson Memorial Way, which is another no-brainer, which is another issue with Gary. Don't take advantage of the fact that you have the greatest entertainment family and the greatest entertainer the world has ever seen.
That's right.
right here from the city, and they don't monetize it. They don't properly honor them, and they don't monetize it. You know. So anyway, so I'm on Broadway, and I'm seeing 3 or 4 construction projects. I'm seeing all I see is Europeans. The only Africans I see working were policemen guarding the workers who don't live in Gary. Right now, they said they're even policemen from Hammond or other cities in Gary guarding workers, protecting workers who aren't from Gary. Wow. Man, the only school system in the state that the state has taken over. And they've had 3 emergency managers. All of them have been European. You know, we're living under.
How long has it been in state hands?
Look, seems like about 3 years, somewhere around 3 years. And so now they got this big influx of money, right? Mm-hmm. So it seems like they're going to be doing some good things with the money that they're getting from the government. So they'll get credit for some of that, but the scores are still pretty abysmal. And you know, when we look at this whole piece with the violence, the 130 people killed, not killed, but shot in the last 5 days in Chicago. But this music, not only does it affect that, it affects the education system. It affects, it's stuff, most of the music is dumbed down music. Mm-hmm. You know, it disrespects elders in the music. Mm-hmm. It disrespects women in the music. It tells you to be materialistic morons in the music. Spend your money on stupid stuff, to stay high and drunk all the time, which is one of the hottest songs out a couple years ago. Was it Drunk and High and Drunk? It was Fake. I mean, y'all call him Drake. Drake and Gucci Mane. Drunk and High, something like that. Mm. But constantly on the radio, just drunk and high and drunk. And all that, it affects everything. It affects the family. It affects the prison industrial complex because it tells us to do things that's going to lock you back up and get you locked back up in prison. Another interesting point, brother. Do you know, I'm sure you used to go to party at clubs sometime. You know, I did too, like to party once in a while. But I be seeing these young sisters, man, I'm going out for my birthday. Where you going? Going to the strip club. Why are you going to the strip club?
Yeah, that's a good question, brother.
But that's
the strip club culture out here.
It's out there. I mean, you know, the places to go party, they've diminished, and so we party at and go hang out at the strip club. Yeah, females and males.
Yeah, that's. There's some really deleterious happenings going on in our community, man, that we have to get a hold of, no doubt about it. And when you talk about the need for a Malcolm X Street, a Malcolm X Boulevard, to make his image prominent in our community, to give young people something to aspire toward. But you know, also at the same time, man, this anti-CRT. I mean, I could hear some Indiana officials objecting to a Malcolm X Boulevard because they say it's part of this critical race theory mess that's teaching that white people are inherently evil. And so we have to make sure that there's no more Malcolm X Boulevards. And that's growing. That sentiment is growing out here.
But we got all blacks. And right now, typically there would be a couple white folks in the council, but right now it's all African.
Okay.
And all, you know, the mayor administration, like actually the white dude on the administration is the one who was helping us move forward before the executive order was signed. So, I mean, this stuff is like backwards and crazy, man. What's happening?
So it's the black officials are the ones who are opposed to the Malcolm X Boulevard thing.
One things I heard was the church. The church leader was opposed to it. But just like here, I guess Park Street when they renamed it Martin Luther King Drive, one of the churches changed their address. Talking about work with the post office.
Yeah,
got it off Martin Luther King and changed Park Street or Martin Luther King and changed it to 35th or 40 whatever street.
31st, right?
31st. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, just absolutely just.
Yeah, there was.
What's wrong with your people, Salim?
There was an anti MLK move in Chicago. I mean, a lot of black preachers didn't appreciate Martin Luther King with his social justice agenda. They didn't think that was appropriate for churches. And from what I understand, you say that the churches are still providing some opposition to what you're trying to do.
Man, we struggled for 3 years to get a meeting with the Interfaith Clergy Council in the Gary area about this music piece. Struggled. There's a group in South.
Well, that would be natural allies.
Natural. And again, you talk about, you know, give me love for being able to. Man, I could just go sit down if the churches got behind this.
Exactly.
South Chicago, another group of churches met with a couple leaders. That's it. Never got a chance to get back with them. But finally got a meeting with the Interfaith Clergy Council of Gary, of that area. About 19, 21 preachers there presented. I heard a song this weekend called Preach from, I think it's Young Dolph. All I trust is he slugs and my gat. Preach. That's the name of his song. They played it. It's an old song, but they played it this weekend. I think it was Sunday morning they played it when I was monitoring the slop hop station in Hammond, Power 92.3, Don Tron Crawford.
You call it slop hop?
Yeah, slop hop. It's definitely slop hop. Slop hop, SHIT hop. Brother Cassius calls it crap music, CRAP. Yeah, so just, I know he says rap artists pretending, but they call it rap, but just so much. But so finally got a chance to meet with these preachers, and I shared with them that song Preach. I shared with them the song Amen. Have you heard the song Amen? Meek Mill had a song, his first hit song really, called Amen. I'm finna kill ends in the building, amen. She wants to F, I say get on top and roller coast, church. This is the lines of that song. We hear it on Sunday morning on the radio out here. The song called Sanctified with Kanye West. I don't know if Jay-Z
Kanye West. So you gave him a list of songs with theological themes. Huh?
There's a song called God that they were playing from Young Sleazy. Young
Jeezy.
Yeah, we got with these nicknames. I'm sorry, but God, they were playing God on the radio. I'm a God in the hood. My chopper make an end, and they would say the end bomb would be said. They would say it on this song. Hop a 10-foot wall. So you're chasing somebody, and the song is called God. We shared that with these preachers, bro. We laid it out. We asked them what we needed them to do. What you got any questions for us? They had one question. The only question was, what church do you go to?
Oh man, get out of here.
I'm serious. What church do you go to?
And if you didn't go to a church that was aligned with them, they wouldn't listen to you, or what?
They didn't. That was it.
Wow. So how do they? I mean, this is right in line with their preachments. Why aren't they in concert with you?
I don't know. It's just tough to fathom. But we're gonna still pushing. We're gonna still keep pushing.
Maybe they're trying to say, look, man, we have a hard enough time reaching the youth as it is, man. We don't want to add to that alienation, right?
But they don't understand if the youth, like if I want to make some music in Chicago area, whatever, and I want to make some music, and I'm listening to the radio, that's the theme of what I'm hearing. I'm gonna try to make music like what I'm hearing. Mm-hmm. So take all that crap off and start giving us some conscious, some fun, peace, love, unity, having fun type music. Then that's what I'll make. And the youth, I'm telling you, life is imitating this so-called art in that instance. And these preachers, they're just like, there's no different than Maxine Waters. Mm. You know, Maxine Waters, who has a meeting with Megan Pete that's broadcast. I don't know if you've seen it.
I haven't seen it.
Megan got ready when they asked Maxine about the content. Megan was like, she was ready to get it. She was ready. She thought Maxine was going to read her the riot act. Maxine big up what she was doing. It was disgusting.
Wow.
And then we see her on the BET Awards just recently. I don't know who the sister was that she introduced, but she came out there rapping about D's and effing.
And Maxine introduced her?
Oh, yeah. Wow. Introduced her. So we called her office and tried to get at her, but to no avail. I mean, Harvey Mason, the drummer, you know, his son runs the Grammy Awards. Mm-hmm. We sent letters to him, opened Hood Research out of Detroit. The National Congress of Black Women, Dr. Faye Williams wrote a letter, sent it to him. CEMOTAP out of New York, Committee to Eliminate Media Offensive to African People. Mm-hmm. Dr. James McIntosh. They were all trying to get at him. They didn't respond to us, but yet you're nominating songs about shooting and killing Africans as a song of the year. A song called Rockstar, again, by the Baby and Roddy Ricch. Roddy Ricch had a song they played so much last year. One of the key songs in that chorus is She's S'ing on D, No Hands With It. That's in the chorus of the song. But the Baby song, his daughter's a G. She saw him kill it in by the age of 2.
See, I gotta listen to these lyrics, man, because that's sneaking by me. I'm not hearing this stuff. And as you say, you were talking about the gospel. I mean, again, Summer Soul, Oh Happy Day, man, they went crazy on that jam. It was amazing to see them go off on that gospel jam. I mean, the entire park went up on it, you know. So that kind of music is inspirational, man, and there's no reason why it shouldn't be being produced in a serious way, and it should be eclipsed by this dysfunctional message that's so predominant. Again, my brother, maybe it's just the times, man.
But it's being controlled. It's contrived. They know exactly what they're doing. I mentioned listening to Dr. Frances Cress Welding shortly after she transitioned, and hearing that spot, rap music has annihilated the self-respect of black people. At that 24-minute mark, Mama Saru, I think she had shared this rap from your comrade Kwame Ture. We just celebrated the 80th anniversary of his birth last week, and so there was a piece where I gotta find this, but he talked about how this stuff is calculated. He talked about how this inner city violence is calculated. He said they don't have no emotion about it. They just count the numbers and do what they got to do. And he made it clear, of course. Kwame did it. Yeah. Made it clear that this is calculated, and we know it's calculated. We look at. I gotta mention this example because this is how heinous and this stuff is right now, and that we're seeing it. The shooting at South Shore recently, when they had those two mass shootings in one day. Did you see the video?
No, I didn't.
There's a video. You see people just hanging outside on the porch, and then people come up in front of them, and you see the lights going off where they're firing their weapons. And I think a sister died in that one.
The 75th Street thing.
I don't know. There may have been the 75th. There were two that day.
Okay.
And both of them, only black women died. The song I mentioned earlier, Beatbox. There's a line in the song where Pooh Shiesty, they're riding 3 deep. He's holding down the back seat or something like that. I'm probably messing up the lyrics, but riding 3 deep and they get 10 bodies. 10 bodies are riding 3 deep. Now, not too long after that, in Florida, there's a video of these 3 dudes getting out this truck, mask up or whatever, and they leave the truck. 2 of them have assault rifles. One of them has some sort of pistol. And within 10 seconds, they hop back in the truck and drive off. So 23 people were shot. 2 died right away. Sister died about a week later. Later on, they showed a video outside of the place where they were trying to get in. They just, like I used to do, I'm sure like you used to do, just waiting to get in the club or waiting to go into the party. They show them trying to get away, but most of them are going down. And then they juxtapose the video with the 3 brothers hopping out the car, just like riding 3 deep, hopping out the car, just like NLE Chopper. They're going to walk down over there real quick, pretty much, they probably ran. And they got them leaving the scene, leaving their image of the truck because they go out of the camera. And then you see the people who are standing up start going down. Sister falls down, brothers knocking down, trying to help a sister get out the way. And then they go back, showing them hopping back in the car. In less than 10 seconds, they got 23 bodies.
Damn.
And this is in the song. And of course, they're there at a rap concert, getting ready to get into a rap concert. So I look up the lyrics to the brother that's rapping. Same sort of stuff, bro.
Wow.
Dr. Wilson is right. I mean, how do you shoot and kill your people like this, man? 5 days, 130 people shot. And if it's 130, 120 of them look like us. Then when we watched the news, I felt sorry for this dude, man. This dude was just riding on the L. White dude, he gets shot in the neck. His parents with everybody with him. What's up? He can communicate a little bit. He said, just if I got to live like this, just pull the plug. They pulled the plug on him. White dude.
I saw that, man. A University of Chicago student who just happened to be riding back from the loop, to the south side on the L and got shot.
Got shot in the neck.
Errant bullet.
Part of I don't know if he's Jewish or not, but
he was Jewish.
Yeah, Jewish. But out of the 130 people shot, I guess it was 19 killed, something like that. That's who they show. I saw it was on GN. It was on Channel 5 News. That's who they show. Feel for him and his family. But what about the other, where are their stories? In the book, Who Stole the Soul of Weaponization of Hip Hop? Who's behind a lot of this? Who's pushing this poison on our people? Who? A lot of these Zionists. And they know they're wrong.
Zionists or Jewish businessmen?
Most of which, most likely, Zionists. So, it needs to be talked about and dealt with, because one of the things that we say when we think about and I mentioned the NAACP, I didn't mention them, I mentioned the Grammys, but the NAACP Image Award songs like Savage, award songs like that as Song of the Year. a song where Megan is Beyonce's dropping an N-bomb on her mama. Megan is calling herself a savage. Two sisters call themselves savages, where she's gonna bleed the block. Well, these instances, the block is left bled. Most of these instances, they're on the block. Incidents are on the block. And even Megan herself is supposedly mad at DaBaby right now because he did a song with Tory Lanez and Lil Stain and this white dude out of Louisville, Jack Harlow, What's Poppin', another funky song. You know, NBA championship starts tonight. I can pass that B like Stockton. All-time sense leader. That's what Harlow says. Lil Stain comes on the song. He one-ups him. I can pass that B like Magic on this remix. You know, and that, if y'all understand what that means, you got with her, so you're gonna pass her around. And also, DaBaby again is in this song, and also Tory Lanez. Tory Lanez, ignorant rap in the song, but Tory Lanez is the one who supposedly shot Megan and had her on the block bleeding. Shot her in both feet. And she's on the block bleeding, so she's supposedly mad at DaBaby that he would do a song with Tory Lanez. And DaBaby says something clever and silly and stupid about Megan getting shot in the feet or something. I forgot. I don't know exactly what he said, but you know. So it's all this stuff. In the meantime, we're dying from it. You know, we're trying to live this life and we're dying from it, and it's killing us, man. This stuff is crazy.
Yeah, you know, you mentioned something though that I think is a part of the pushback as well, because at one point the critique was that a lot of these you know, this is a Jewish plot, that this is a part the Zionists are trying to get rid of us, you know, and it's the, you know, and so it's been construed as an anti-Semitic attack, as an attack on Jewish businessmen, and so that has been one of the pushbacks. I know during the period when there was you know, some serious critique of gangster rap when NWA first emerged, and people saw that as an attempt to smother Public Enemy and other conscious rappers' message. They say, well, that's the Jews trying to cool things out, and so that was the counter. That was the counter argument that, hey man, you cats are just using the anti-Semitic trope to attack business. And so how do you respond to that? Because you mentioned the point that it is, you know, a lot of Jewish businessmen out there. How do you counteract that charge?
A lot of times I don't really get into that argument with them because I know I forgot what Kwame Ture said exactly about what Semite really was. He breaks that down to that. But one of the things that we talk about is how, like Drake, for instance. Drake's mama is, I think she's a European who practices Jewish religion.
Indeed. Well, that's a good place as any to hold up for a minute, and we come back after this break.
WIIFTBP.
WIIFTBP. Media's just for you and me.
Broken screen? Crash system? Are you in need of spyware or virus removal from your computer? Well, contact RPC Computer Repair in South Shore and let us help you with all your computer repair services and print needs. Need office or print production services, copies, scans, fax, or even notary service? Then stop by and support RPC Computer Repair and Print Shop, located 1741 East 71st Street in the 71st Street corridor, newly revitalized South Shore areas, and let RPC be your one-stop shop, where we believe RPC is your PC. RPC Computer Repair is also a UPS access point where you can drop off and pick up your important packages. So let RPC be of service to you. Call RPC Computer Monday through Saturday, 8 a.m. through 6 p.m. at 773-966-4457. That's 773-966-4457. Visit RPC at rpccomputeringinc.com for more information.
Check. Oh, please, don't you rock my boat, 'cause I don't want my boat to be rocking. Rock my boat.
And we're back. This is Muwakkil'S World. I'm with Kwabena, and we are talking about a lot of this opposition to attempts to make the record companies more accountable to the black community. Some of that critique is couched in charges of anti-Semitism, because many people who are criticizing the way business is promoting this music makes the point that a lot of these businesses are owned by Jewish folk, and that has been a bone of contention. How do you deal with that particular issue, Kwabena?
We were one of the things we do is we replace the N-bomb in these songs with K-I-K-E or just simply J-E-W or any other group, but we replace it with G-A-Y, because you also get into that thing too, or F-A-G. You know, replace the N-bomb with that. And then we see if it would get a Grammy nomination.
Ooh, go ahead.
We see if it would get an NAACP nomination, because the NAACP, again, nominates and awards this sort of crap on their own people. After years ago trying to ban the N-bomb, which I thought was kind of crazy too. Even believing after all I just said, I think it's crazy to ban the word. Our thing is, don't call yourself that and don't call your people that.
Okay.
The word is in history, it's gonna be there. But don't call yourself that and don't call your people that. And limit using it on these songs unnecessarily, because it's, you know, but now again, you're awarding and rewarding people who make this music. And so again, Drake, who's again, his mother is European, practices Jewish religion. His daddy is African. His daddy is Larry Graham's brother, who we saw in the movie.
Larry Graham, right, from Sly and the Family Stones, right? The bassist in that.
Yeah, bad bassist.
Bad.
Bad brother there. And so again, his song, Artists of the Last Decade, one of the songs early in the last decade that got him going was Started from the Bottom, Now I'm Here. That's all you would hear, right? You didn't know that after he said here, he was dropping an N-bomb pretty much on every line. He said, take that N-bomb out and put something derogatory to his mama's side.
Woo.
He wouldn't be Artist of the Decade. It wouldn't even get played. His mama wouldn't accept it. And we got to stop accepting it. So that's one of the main things we say about that. Check out Most Def's The Rape Is Over. He breaks down some of this. And, you know, you think about Drake. Drake's father was living in Memphis. I'm not sure if he's there now, whatever. That's what they say. But he did a song called Look Dead. Really, the song was called Look Alive, but we call it Look Dead, with a rapper named Block Boy JB out of Memphis. Block Boy also made the song. He said, pull up on my side. We gonna see. We gonna send them. They gonna kill them when they pull up on their side in the car, and then we gonna see how hard they ride. And so when we look at a lot of this killing going on, those are the type of things that be happening. You done did something, somebody's coming to retaliate, but you know they're coming to retaliate, so you lay low. And who gets got?
This innocent bystander.
Yes, the children, the 61-year-old man, the 8-month-old baby that happened out here last week, the 9-year-old, I forgot how many children, 9 children, something was shot. This is what happens. And again, this is pushed in this music. This song was in heavy, hot rotation. I'm driving to Columbus one day. I'm here in Dayton. As soon as I get to Columbus, it's on. I go to my spot that evening, get back up in the morning, turn the radio on. It's back on again in Columbus, the same song, Look Alive or Look Dead. So Black Boy JB also had a song called Shoot. Shoot, shoot. They repeat shoot 48 times or 46 times in the song. Yeah, they did a dance, the shoot dance. That was probably the second most popular dance in the country a couple years ago. Shot him in the back, now he can't feel himself. We just had a Juneteenth baseball tournament in Gary. One of my comrades, coaches, we were talking about my team, had a team a couple years ago that won the championship. And he was telling me that Brother Mike is paralyzed. Got shot in the back. One of my players. Brother Bug was already paralyzed, getting shot in the back. Brother Cedric, who's on the team, is gone. He was killed. Somebody was teasing somebody like children do. The dude, instead of just getting away from him, he could have did something. He runs up and shoots him, and shoots Cedric and kills him. And you think we're gonna kick back and let y'all play a song called Shoot on the air in hot rotation, telling us to shoot and kill each other, bragging on shooting somebody in the back. Now he can't feel himself.
Well, But Kwame, what about this particular perspective? That look, man, people make this kind of music because they are hurt people. What we need to focus on is relieving that hurt, taking care of that of the lack of resources in our community, erasing the scarcity that keeps us at each other's throats on the edge of survival. If we focused on that would automatically take care of the ratchet music that we make, because we would have different conditions in which to nurture our creative impulses.
You know, Bob deals with that a lot too when he talks about how we've been having those issues, been having them for a while, and we struggle through them. You're right. We got to work on those issues. We have to improve on those issues. But what we didn't have was this music telling us to handle these issues by killing each other. What we didn't have was this music, and the music has been around for a while, pushing this poison for this entire century. It's just getting worse and worse now. It's been around, even before then. We mentioned NWA and stuff earlier. But doing things to help this prison industrial complex, doing things to help us go to prison, to help the daddies not be in the home, to help to discipline these sons and to train these sons and to protect these daughters. So to watch, to have them show them that work ethic. So that's what we do. When we struggle with these jobs, in Gary, for instance, we always get this pushback. We can't find the people to work, or people don't want to work. Our brother the other day just simply selling watermelons. Man, I need somebody to help sell these watermelons. I'm paying this money a day, and so it is a struggle. But I even look at like the whole sex thing with this pornographic music that's constantly being played and encouraging our daughters to be harlots and disrespecting women on top of police cars the other night twerking while you're in harm's way, and this is what you decide to do. Who put that mindset? So I think about coming up, like we said, them sensitive nerve endings, and hey, we want to get with a woman. What you gonna bring to the table? You gonna be able to provide for me or for us? What you gonna do in terms of work wise? The women and sisters were like, you got to bring something.
Right.
You think it's like that now?
Is it?
No, because they're being trained and programmed via this mass media just to give it up. And there was a song the other day. This is another Chicago rapper. No, it was Gucci Mane. Heard the other day. They played "I'm a Dog" this past weekend. I'm a dog. I'm a feed her like a dog. Treat her like a dog, beat her like a dog, toss her to my dogs. I'm a dog, I'm a dog, I'm a dog. This was on the radio this weekend, song by 8 years old. Just totally disrespecting our women. So the music covers all that stuff. It covers work ethic and everything. We got a, what was that? Oh, The Fifth Dimension. A song, they did a song about something, about a hot air balloon. And it became a big hit, right? You remember that?
Would you like to ride, my beautiful?
About a hot air balloon. So I thought about this survey we're having. We were doing surveys all around the country about the sad state of black music. I was in Louisiana, and the questions we asked is, give us the percentage of music you and your peers listen to that drop N-bombs, the percentage of music you and your peers listen to that refer to our mamas, our daughters, our sisters, our wives, our girlfriends, our aunties, our grandmamas as B's and H's, and a percentage of music that brags about it and encourages us to shoot and kill each other. And as I was asking these brothers, they were like, 80% or all of it. And when I said about shooting and killing, brother was like, well, that's me. I make music like that. And so we kind of try to encourage the brother to make some music about something else, bro. As long as your flow is there, your beats are cool, make a song about fishing. We down in Louisiana. You might get a hit. So there's all sorts of things that we do. And they just following the same program. It's all about shooting and killing people. And the answers to those survey questions, bro, are like 85, 90, sometimes 100%. I'm talking about from New York to San Diego to Portland to Tampa and everywhere in between. These are the answers we're getting. These are the answers we get into this music. This is how
young people being candid about the music they listen to.
Young people being candid. I asked the question to this brother in Nap recently. He was like in his 30s. Brother out in Vegas, he was like 41. Brother at the airport, he was like 30 something. And the younger people, but it's all around. When I did it at Southern University, my alma mater, though, it was interesting because the two instructors, we did the survey, and it was, again, those same numbers. But they wrote it down, and the two instructors, one was a serious elder, and his number was like 5%, 0. And other instructor, his numbers were like 10%, 5-0. So just that gap, man, is like crazy.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it's crazy.
But still, the thing that is really fascinating to me, Brother Kwabena, is just the endurance of hip hop in our culture. How has it? Why has it remained vital for so long? In ways that other genres have not. What do you think is the reason?
I think it's easy to make. It's easy to make, and we are creative people. And you come up with something, and it's catchy. But also in terms of the negativity of it, the powers that be, those who control the music industry, they understand the power that it has, and they understand what is promoting to the masses of our people in particular, and even the Europeans. It's promoting to the Europeans that when I do have a job later on, I don't want you working at it. If I'm able to get, no, you might. I don't want you close to my daughter. They'll be out there next week enjoying and laughing and getting drunk off songs about black people killing each other. But it's doing exactly what they want it to do. But we, Brody Diallo talks about this and others do too. But he says that even though we're not responsible for promoting and pushing all this, it's our responsibility to put a stop to it. That's our responsibility. And that's what we have to do, because they're going to, and this is not going to stop hip hop. We don't, just give us some hip hop, or we'll hear some music that is more conscious, that doesn't talk. We mentioned censoring earlier. And again, going back to Bob, he says they are the ones who censor the music.
By limiting the content.
Yes. Yes. If it's not talking about those items, they don't play it. They censor it. And even when I was back at Southern again doing a presentation, I brought some CDs with me. I brought some jazz, brought some old school funk, brought some mellow stuff, brought some conscious hip hop, and brought some slow jams. So after the presentation, we just laid them out. Just get you some music. Guess what stack went first?
Which one?
Slow jams. First.
Dig it.
And we asked them, give us 3 slow jams that you heard in the last 2 years, and they hard pressed to find them. They always go back to old school stuff or classics that they like and that their parents play. So, you can't use that one. But they like when Amel LaRue's For Real came out. We'll be presenting and talk about that, and the children absolutely love that song. They love that song.
Yeah, I mean, I have a friend who says her notion is that one of the problems in our community is the lack of slow dancing. Is that we don't touch each other anymore in our communal rituals. That is all remote, and that's one of the reasons why we don't have that sense of communal closeness. Is we don't use music to embrace each other. Rather, we use it to repel each other.
Music is so important, man. I mean, I wanted to say one other thing too, back about this whole Jewish piece. There was a song that was out by 21 Savage. I forgot who else he was. No, it was a song just by him. He did the song too a couple years ago that was constantly played on the radio. Talking about how his Glock is cocking. He don't get on F about who he hit. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 shooters ready to gun you down. Can you believe that was played on the radio in Chicago?
I can't believe any of the music that you told me is being played, man. It's hard for me to believe any of that, man.
Hydea Pendleton, Sister Africa was there, and we came out and she let us speak for a minute, and we asked that question, and we asked the other spots we go to. We said, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and we say, children, youth, don't say nothing. Adults, answer that question. They don't answer. Then we say, okay, everybody, and then they yell out, ready to gun you down, ready to gun you down. We asked the question, another one. If Young Metro don't trust you, you should know that one by now.
Which one?
If Young Metro don't trust you.
You got me, bro.
So we do that again and ask the adults. Youth, don't say nothing. Adults, like, what that mean? Then we say it again. All right, youth, y'all answer. They say, I'm going to shoot you. If Young Metro don't trust you, I'm going to shoot you. That song was in GCI's top 10 in January 2017, less than a month after we had 780 people murdered in Chicago. 11, almost 12 people shot every day in Chicago. They had in 5 of their top 10 that statement in the songs. Bad and Bougie, XBITCH, a song called You Was Right, where a rapper said he got with this girl at the club, and dude told me he should have hit it in the bathroom, but he took her home, kind of fell for her, found out she was messing with some other guys, and he got mad, took it out on her sister, effed her sister and made her vanish, kidnapped her, made her vanish, killed her, whatever. That's in the song. But in the beginning of that song, it says, if Young Metro don't trust you, I'm going to shoot you. Another song, Bounce Back or something by Big Sean out of Detroit. All those songs, 5 out of the top 10 saying, if you don't trust somebody, you shoot them.
Damn, man.
That's what they pushing on our children.
Yeah, man, that's some amazing stuff, man. And, you know, and it's not just here. I mean, I hear similar kinds of complaints coming out of England, as we pointed out earlier, in the UK. Drill has penetrated, and it has caused an increase in crime. They've correlated it.
I was in Africa at the beach, Labadi Beach, just recently, and DJ started playing. I got to him too. I said, bro, don't you know, I think that was a week we had 80-something people, 60-something people shot in Chicago. I said, bro, don't you know that your brothers and sisters are killing each other, shooting each other, listening to this type of crap? And they were playing that song Rockstar, which was the number one song. Yeah, they were playing it in Ghana. So, but they were playing all kind of other stuff too. They played a few hip hop songs. Man, but please, bro, check out our project, Clear the Airways Project, cleartheairways.org. Think about, you know, the impact of this.
Is it catching on in Africa as well? That kind of ratchet hip hop.
Yeah, but they play so much more other music. You know, we give love to Mama C out of Charlotte, your comrade out of Mama Charlotte O'Neal, her and Pete out of Tanzania, because she's an artist, and she gets on the radio stations and tell them don't be doing this crap.
Okay.
So,
I know in India they're having problems with gully, what they call gully rap, which is similar to gangster rap. I mean that's their translation of it, and they're having the same kind of problems.
They make it so tough. But I wanted to say this too about that word and stuff. So, 21 Savage, he played at a bar mitzvah. And it's on the internet. They paid him $1 million or $750,000, $1 million to play at a bar mitzvah.
At a bar mitzvah.
Yeah, but he did this song about not giving an F about who he hit. Again, that's minstrel. They just enjoying that. And so he mentioned that in the song that he gets Jewish money. And they got LeBron dancing to that in some videos. So LeBron had to apologize for just dancing to this song being played. And 21 Savage also apologized. Now, on the same song, he talked about shooting the end in the liver or somewhere. No apologies for that. But you just mentioned getting Jewish money and what you got at a bar mitzvah. That's, the JDL said, no, you can't do that. And we acquiesce. But yet you can talk about taking a life of a black woman, a black baby, a black man.
Yeah, there's a disparity for real, my brother. Anything else, man, that you want to, because we coming close on a wind up time. Anything else you want to get out?
Solutions, bro. I'm leaving you with that. We again, check out that book. Check out Hip Hop Hypocrisy by Coach Powell.
Hip Hop Hypocrisy, okay.
By Coach Alfred Powell. He did those 40 ounces in books back in the 90s. Excellent book. Him and brother Baba Kwesi, Ron Harris worked on that the Hip Hop Hypocrisy with him, our late ancestor. Check out Blackout by Paul Porter. Used to work at BET.
Blackout.
Blackout the book. Check out again Who Stole the Soul, the Weaponization of Hip Hop from Brother Bernard Creamer. Last fall we had some special editions of the Metropolis paper. Sister Layla put together, and we worked with her, and several articles in there dealing with this issue. We filed complaints with the FCC to reconsider that license they gave to 92.3 and to take the license, or not allow GCI to get their license again, which was up in December, because they're violating FCC decency standards constantly. 24/7, 365, they violate them. The standards say you cannot play.
Is there any dispute about that?
No, I just share with you one, because their attorneys had to respond to our complaints, which they did, and we responded back in kind with examples. We have recorded examples of what they play constantly, and so we no indecent or profane content between the hours of 6 o'clock and 6 and 10, because our children are most likely to be listening. But they can play a little bit after that. Obscene content, never allowed. And we've been given examples of the obscene crap they play all the time. So 92.3, the Dontron Crawford station, we just got a word back that they dismissed our complaint against them. So the FCC, while the feds are saying we want to do something about this violence, the feds are also saying it's okay for radio stations in Gary, for Power 92.3, to tell your people, your children, and your youth that they should be shooting and killing each other, and that their women should be drinking piss.
Contradictions indeed, my brother.
Yeah, but that ain't obscene. So we're waiting on the word back from the No Heart station, which is all around the country, iHeart. That response. So we're gonna be sharing more of that with the people, and also the city of New York. Anybody listening, They have a resolution that's been sitting for 2 years. 2 years condemning the killer radio stations out there. One is a No Heart station, and one is a Cumulus or MS, whatever it is, but pushing that poison. Most of these stations are European owned, even though we have Radio 1 pushing that poison to our people too,
Yes.
which is the black owned station. And we're saying, I'm gonna leave y'all too with this song. I hate to leave you with like this, but one of the things we ask, if you guys had acted on this in New York, iHeart would not have had Throat Babies. That's the #1 song in the country this winter.
Throat Babies.
Throat Babies. Sexy Little B, Sexy Little H. Kenny Young N come play in your throat. Throat Babies. #1 song in the country for our children earlier this year.
My brother. Brother Kwabena, it's been revelatory, and as it always is when I talk to you, man, and I hope that the people are listening and will move on this stuff, man, because we need some remediation for real. Folks, it's been a pleasure. Until the next time, y'all, come back to Muwakkil'S World next Tuesday. Take care of yourself. Peace.
WIIFTBP.